Hey there. I just want to record a very quick video to show you once you receive your Seint Beauty makeup in the mail, where does it go on your face? So we're going to make this really quick. The chances are, if I color matched you, I would have suggested for you to get this 1210 compact so that you got room to grow. I would have given you 5 color suggestions along with the blush and bronzer brush and the perfector sponge. So this entire kit would be $123 plus tax with free shipping. So once you get it in, where do you place it? So I'm going to show you that really quick. Now we also have add-ons that I think are great. If you did want a pressed powder you could put in your compact, some eyeshadows, or an illuminator, kind of like the highlighter you put on the high points of your face, along with a couple of other brushes that are my favorites. I love this for contour, and this is a great eyeshadow brush. And then we have our setting spray that I like to use as a primer. So there's a lot of extras you can do, but I typically would suggest about $123 as kind of a starter package, but I'll lay that all out for you. But I wanted to show you really quick where you put everything. So let's just get started, okay? What I do, and everything I'm going to apply, I'm going to use this brush because this is what I would suggest for you to start with, because you can do everything with this. So we're going to start with the contour, and this right here is my shade Olive. So I'm going to pinch my brush just a little, and I'm going to put it right along the bottom of my cheekbone, and I'm still kind of pinching it. You don't really want to drag it down any further than the iris of your eye. Also, you kind of contour where you need it, where you already have natural shadows or where you kind of want to manipulate and create some shadows. You don't have to go along this jawline, but if you kind of want to separate, it helps to kind of minimize the double chin. And I always get the little area. So that's that. I'm not going to blend it out. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to go ahead and apply my other. So now I'm going to start with my main highlight shade, which is the color here, Sandy. So I'm just going to dab in there. Little goes a long way, so you don't want a lot of product. And I kind of just bring it all the way around. Right here it's going to be really light because the majority of the product's placed here, but I'll also put a brightener shade there as well. And I'm going to put just a little bit under where I contoured. And we're going to blend this all together. And then I'll put just a little bit on each side of my nose as well. And then just a little bit right here on top of my lip. So that's that. I really didn't blend it in. I just kind of stippled it on really quick. Now I'm going to go in with my brightening highlight shade. This is going to be the lighter of the two. So this is your all over, aka your foundation or your base. And this is going to be kind of like where your concealer color or the lighter color would be. So this brush is a little big for me to go down my nose when I contour my nose or when I go under my eyes, but you can still use it. But I'm going to just pounce in this very lightly, and I'm going to put just a little bit here in the center. I'm going to put a little bit on my chin. I'm actually going to use my finger. We have other brushes that you can use, but if you are only use this brush, then I would suggest doing that with your finger. And then I would also suggest going in right here and just kind of dabbing it right in the corner of your eyes with your finger too. You can use the brush, you just want to be careful to go very lightly. And then I usually put a little bit right here on the outside too, because we'll marry that together. These will all kind of go together. That way you don't have too much under your eye. And then I also, did I put a little bit right there? Yeah. So if you want to contour your nose, it's totally up to you. Again, this brush is too big to contour your nose. If you got something like this brush that has a little sharp edge, you can contour with that. This is the detail brush. But if you don't have, but only the bare minimum products, then I would go in and I just tap both fingers into it, kind of rub it together, and then I will just really start at the bottom and I kind of go up. And I make a little line. That's extra. You don't have to do that. It's totally up to you. You can outline your lips with your contour if you want to. again, totally up to you. Then just really however much time that you have that you want to put into it, that's exactly what, you can play with it later on. Sometimes you just want to slap it on, and then sometimes you want to go in and you want to take a little bit extra time. So this right here, my nose contour that I just did, that's extra. You don't have to do that, just if you want to. But I pretty much have my whole face on. Now I can go in and I can blend with this side, I could blend with this side, or I could even use my sponge. I always suggest having a beauty sponge, even if it's not ours. It just really helps with application too. It'll help you blur anything if you put too much on. So I like to use the smaller side. So I'm just gonna go through and I'm just gonna kind of blend it all together. And when you contour, you go kind of around your face, just like that. Like you'll have the shape of an E, a letter E, or the number 3 on each side. You don't want to blur out your contour too much, because if you blend it out, then you can't see it, and that defeats the whole purpose for doing it. And blend your contour on your cheeks up so that you don't drag your face down. Now you can always prime your eyelids with your color as well. You can use your brightening highlight or your main highlight, either one of these shades, and you can put that all over your eyelids. And just before you put your eyeshadow on, and it'll serve as a good eye primer. And don't forget to blend your jawline if you did contour that. Okay. So now we're going to do a quick bronze. I'm going to use the fluffy end of this brush. And I'm just kind of dabbing into it. There's not a lot on there. And then I just kind of swirl almost where I contoured. This will bring the warmth. The contour will help with the shadows and the manipulation and the shapes. But the bronzer will help give you that beachy, warm, glowy look. Kind of brings the whole look together. And then I always go down my neck, and even when I see it looking crazy like that, it blends out so quick and so easy. This is what helps tie the whole look together. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my lip and cheek. This is the color Desert Sunset. I'm going to use this small end of this brush as well. I'm just going to pop that along right on top or right above where I contoured. You don't want to drag it in too far here, so you kind of want to start and kind of bring it down to where close to the apples of your cheeks, and just run it along almost on your cheekbone there. And then you can also use this as a lip and cheek color. And that's the color of it there. It's just a pretty gloss. So we're going to use this because we're going to keep it really quick and simple. So that's my whole face in a nutshell. Again, if I wanted to go in and I wanted to do a few of the little extra things, then I could go in with this powder here. This is the Vanilla Dust Setting Powder. And I would just use the same brush that I just used for my bronzer, and I would sweep it in there and then kind of dust that where I need. I can do that all over my face. Another way you can use the vanilla dust is you can use your damp sponge. It doesn't need to be soaking wet, it's just barely damp, and you can pop it in your powder, and then you can set like under your eyes, over your eyelids, and that will give you a an easier base for you to put your eyeshadows on. And it's kind of a brightening highlight, so it works good. And you really just want to powder where you would get oily. If you're super oily, you might want to use a loose setting powder. I have a few that I really like. This one's good for if I don't need a lot of oil absorption. I do like to be glowy though. And then also here's the illuminator. Again, this is one of the extras. You can just pop that along the high points of your face that you want to kind of have a little bit of glow. It's cream based, but we have a few that are powder as well. And when I finish with everything, I always take my sponge and I go back over and I make sure that everything is blended together really well, that I don't have any excess. And then I will usually go in and kind of feel my face to make sure, do I feel like it's really sticky? Now, if you do use some of our gloss cheek colors, that will have a sticky consistency. It's kind of a glossy texture, which I don't mind it because I know that's the way it's supposed to be. If you don't like that, you can always powder over it, but that glossiness is kind of what gives you a little bit of that youthful look. So I don't mind it. I need all the youth I can get. So I just kind of go back through and blend. And then the last thing, if we wanted to do a quick eye, I would take, I could give it a simple eye color combo, and this is going to be Oak. Just as a transition, I kind of go back and forth. And you kind of just sweep back and forth. And if you have hooded eyes, which a lot of us do, or a lot of extra skin, sometimes you can even hold your eye closed. But as long as you just go back and forth in windshield wiper motions, and you can even have your eye open, looking directly so you can see where your hoods are, you can sweep back and forth with that as well. If you want to be a little bit more dramatic and go a little bit darker, you can take a smaller end of the brush and dip in that same color Oak and kind of just hit the outer. Just to deepen that a little bit. And I like to run it underneath my lower lash line as well. It's hard to look in the mirror and do that because you want to look up. You want to put it somewhere and then kind of look up and just get it close. And then lastly, I will get my finger and I will put it in a shimmer. This one's On Wednesday. It's the name of that color. And I will just kind of pop that on my lid. I pretty much stop in the center of my lid. And you can even pop that on the inner corner of your eye too. And then you throw in some mascara and you're done. So that's really it in a nutshell, how you would do. Again, if I was color matching you, I would tell you between this palette, the brush, the sponge, and these 5 colors, it would be $123, and that's what I would consider a basic starter kit. And then anything else that you wanted to add on, like the other products that I showed you, those are extra. So hopefully that'll help you with the product placement and where you put it. But if you do have any questions, be sure to reach out to me and I will be glad to answer. You can send it email or through any of the messaging apps in my social medias. So thanks for watching.